obviously I was extremely excited to go to Mount Juliet this year to play it as the Open champion. I was selfishly looking forward to playing, the Irish Open in front of my home fans. As a major champion, and that obviously didn't happen with everything that went on. So, we just kind of waited and see. And like everything, it's kind of, you don't really make plans too much down the road, with the way things are in the world at the minute. So, when this venue and this date came up, I felt like, I wanted to come play because I feel like I owe it to the Irish Open. I feel like I not owe it, is maybe a weird word or not a great word to use, but I owe it to them and the tour, and just to support the event, and to come here and try and give it my best shot to come out and win it again. That's the reason I'm here this week. And I just I don't think there'll ever be a time that I won't play in the Irish Open, and that's kind of what I've shown this week, and that's just how I feel about the event.
And speaking about supporting the event, I know you've got a different logo as well that you're wearing this week. Can you tell us some more about that?
Yeah, so 20 by 20 is basically to promote participation and opportunities in ladies and women's sport. And my sponsors Amidas were very, very good to come up with the idea. They, I'd like to say I come up with the idea myself, but they come up with the idea, and they they obviously sponsor Stephanie Meadows, so and she wears the logo and she's one of their ambassadors. So I think that's probably a little bit where it came from. And when they came to me, I'm happy to do that. And I've obviously got a little girl myself, and I'd love I'd love when she's older that she gets every opportunity that she needs to be able to compete and participate in whatever sport or anything that she wants to do. Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to push her to play a sport, but if she wants to play, it'd be nice for the opportunities to be there for her, because I think this movement that they've created is very good. And it's obviously it's been I think the women's sport is becoming a lot better and a lot easier for people to get involved, but I still think it needs to be better, because even you look at golf. Obviously I'm involved in golf, and ladies' participation in golf, I think they play when they're young, but then when they get to the late teenage years, a lot of them drop out because it's not the cool thing to do. So I think we need to try to create something that keeps people involved in sport, and because sport is a great way of life, and I'm very fortunate that I live my life through sport, and that I do it as my job. So that's the reason I'm happy to be involved. But like I said, it's a lot to do with my sponsors Amidas as well.
Yeah, it's a very noble cause as well, Shane. We'll open up to questions. Brian, if you'd like to unmute yourself and kick us off.
Yeah, Shane, I'm just wondering, given that you're the leading Irish player in the field this week, and the leading player in the field in the world rankings, do you have more expectation than you normally would at an Irish Open to go out and put in a performance?
I don't think it's possible for me to have more expectation than I always do at an Irish Open. I think, if anything, having no crowds here, I'll miss them, but it probably might help me a little bit, because I'll probably try a little bit too hard in front of the home crowds at times, and it does me in. But I felt like the last couple of years at the Irish Open have probably been a little bit better than I have been previous years. So look, no matter what week I go out and play, I do put a bit of pressure on myself to play well. That's just the way I am. So I just think it's trying to keep the pressure, to keep it off me a little bit, and just go out there and be myself, and just let myself play golf, and don't get in my own way, and see where that leads me at the end of the week.
Just as a follow-up to that, could a good week this week perhaps be a little springboard for you for the rest of the season? I'm not quite sure what you're going to play between now and the end of the year, but could this be a little boost of an event for you think?
Yeah, look, well, I'm taking 5 weeks off after this, so I think no matter how good or bad or indifferent I play this week, the 5 weeks break will be welcome. I've been away from Ireland since the first weekend in February, and I've been away from my family for 9 weeks. So it's it's not been an easy run, but it is what it is, and it's the times we're in. So I'm just here to try and do as best I can, and hopefully that's up near the top of the leaderboard at the end of the week.
Philip, you have a question for Shane? Thank you.
Hi Shane, welcome home.
Thanks.
Just Shane, you've put some new equipment in your bag for the last 2 tournaments. How happy are you with how it has worked out? And also, this is a new golf course for you. What are your observations of it, and how much do you like it?
Yeah, so I switched back to my old driver last week, and then yeah, the new irons are fine. They're as good, if not better, than the ones I was using, so I'm happy with them. I'm happy with the equipment, to be honest. And as regards Galgorm, I'm gonna attempt to play 18 holes this afternoon. So hopefully I can get to see the golf course and get a good feel for it. And you know, I've never been here before. First impressions are quite good. I've been in the hotel for a couple of hours waiting on my test results. So you know, it's a pretty nice hotel. So I'm expecting big things at the golf course as well.
We have questions, guys. If you can raise your hands, Martin, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hi Shane, thanks for doing this. How do you feel mentally after last week, Shane? Obviously, a US Open's always tough, but that one seemed to be particularly tough last week.
Yeah, that was probably the toughest golf course I've ever played. I think mentally and physically draining over the week, and yeah, I didn't really sleep on Sunday night afterwards. So I've got a good bit of rest the last couple of days, and like I said, I'm going out to play now. So yeah, I'm probably a little bit drained, but you know, I think when it comes to it, I'll get out there, and a bit of adrenaline will keep me going. I'll be okay.
When you
Michael,
say
did
you
you
didn't,
have a...
sorry, Brian, just a follow up. Just a sort of follow up. When you say you didn't sleep, is it sort of the shots going through your head, or is it just the emotions of the week in the hole?
And yeah, no, just missed out on a few hours sleep, but that's fine. Like I caught up in it the last couple of nights.
Thank you.
Michael, did you want to ask your question?
Yeah. Hi Shane, how are you?
Hi.
Just in terms of, you mentioned it about the 9 weeks away. Have you had a chance to see your family yet? And it must have been a tough few months, was it? Just being on your own, kind of working away.
I flew in on Monday and I went home and I self-isolated in my house for a couple of days, and then I drove up here this morning. So I kind of we were in touch with everybody that involved, HSE, the whole lot, and we figured out what was the right thing to do. So yeah, I got to see them, but obviously not too closely over the last couple of days. So I was kind of I'm looking forward to a few weeks off. I'm looking forward to spending some time with them, being able to walk Iris down to school and do stuff like that. Will be pretty nice. You know, 9 weeks away from them, to be honest. It probably, without making excuses, probably affected me a little bit towards the end. It was just maybe too difficult, because when you start to play badly, you sort of wonder what you're doing it for. Like, what's the reason you're here? Like, why are you bothering doing this? So it was tough, and it was a learning curve. But like I always say, we're in kind of strange times at the minute, aren't we? We're in weird times in the world and our lives. So you just have to kind of try and make the best decisions you can and get on with it.
Would you have come home earlier only for the US Open? Was that?
Yeah, I would have come home earlier only for the US Open. If it was a regular event last week, I probably wouldn't have played. But yeah.
Thanks.
Josh, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi Shane, I just wanted to touch back on last week slightly. Bryson was obviously quite impressive with his 6-shot victory. How do you feel about him effectively overpowering courses? And do you think this approach could work at Augusta?
Yeah, look, there's no doubt Bryson will be favourite going into Augusta, won't he? I think people look, obviously he hits the ball miles and whatever, but there's thousands of guys out there. There's long drive guys that hit the ball miles but can't play golf. You know, Bryson hits it 350 yards, but he hits it down the middle of a lot of fairways, which obviously helps him. I know it was, you know, it was documented him and Matt Wolf in the final group didn't hit many fairways between them, but nobody hit many fairways last week. I think I hit 50% of fairways and I was 10th in driving accuracy. So, you know, if you look at it, he was top 5 in putting stats, and he's probably top 20, top 25 in driving accuracy. So I think, you know, you still need to be a good golfer. And I said that I was asked about this last week as well, and I said, you know, yes, a lot of the best players in the world drive the ball and hit the ball quite a distance, but that's just the way the modern game is. Everyone does it. And I don't think, you know, people were giving out that Bryson overpowered wing foot. Like, he only shot 6 under. It's not like he shot 26 under. You know, I'm worried about where the you know, not that I didn't want Bryson to win, but I was worried about Bryson winning last week in case, you know, the USGA and the RNA and everyone starts kind of talking about changing the golf ball, changing the equipment. I think golf is a great game the way it is, and I think it's fine the way it is. And I think as long as we set up the courses properly, you know, there's not a problem with golf.
Cheers.
Sure. William, if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shane. Welcome home. Just wondering your feelings about coming back to play your first big tournament in Ireland, and indeed in Northern Ireland, since winning at Portrush over a year ago. Does that change things for you in any way, coming here as the headline act at the Irish Open, and given that you're now a major champion going into this tournament?
Yeah, look, it's obviously, I think Portrush is only a half an hour from here or something, so part of the world I like, and you know, I've some good success here. The last time I was up here was that time last year, actually. So, yeah, it's, you know, it is nice to be here, but does it make a big difference? You know, not really. It's another golf course. It's another venue. It's another, you know, just another tournament. So I'm just kind of here to play the best golf I can. But yeah, it's nice to be here as the Open champion. It's nice to be at the Irish Open. I wish there was crowds here. I wish I could enjoy it that way. But look, it is what it is.
And Shane, just in terms of the lack of crowds here, you mentioned you would love to have been going to Mount Juliet, but we're here in Galgorman now. It's going to be behind closed doors. How much does it take away not having supporters in attendance? Because in the 12 years that you've been playing this tournament, it's always been packed. How different is it going to be going out there teeing it up with no fans tomorrow?
Yeah, look, we played a lot of tournaments, like, you know, with no fans the last while. So yeah, I think the big tournaments are just strange. I just think they're weird. You know, playing the US Open and playing the US PGA with no crowds is just, I mean, I think it's definitely affected some people, and it definitely helps the people. I think, I don't know, I haven't been in contention a whole lot since we came back out of lockdown, so who am I to say? But I think it probably affects the people in the right way that are in contention. You know, there's certain times when it comes to it, when you're playing the final round of big tournaments, where you get into a certain scenario and the crowds are, you know, in your head, in your way, all that type of stuff. So I do think it plays a big factor in it. But look, it is what it is. It's, you know, it's normal life for us now. I've played maybe 10 tournaments, maybe more, since we've come back. So I'm learning how to deal with it. But obviously the week here at the Irish Open will be a lot different than normal. Like, normal Irish Open is, you know, is a bit of mayhem. So you know, it might help me. It might help me perform better. It might help me play well. Who knows? We'll see.
Do we have any further questions from anyone? If you just want to raise your hand on the stream. Simon, if you want to unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi Shane, Simon Lewis, Irish Examiner. Just wondering, sort of on that thing, how much does it take to adapt to life in the so-called bubble? And it's not for everyone, is it? Clearly. And I just wonder if that's appreciated as much. You know, being without your family and being on the road anyway can be difficult, but just when there is that kind of element of isolation.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't say it's not for everyone. Like, I took it it was my own decision to spend those 9 weeks away from my family, because my wife was in Florida with me, and she wasn't able to come to the PGA Tour events. So we made a decision that she'd go home and I'd stay out until after the US Open, and that's just what we decided to do. And like I said at the time, look, it's not going to be easy, but it's something that I feel like we should do, because she'll be happier back here in Ireland. So I think the bubble is fine. Like, look, there's plenty of people out there that have lost their jobs during all this. We're out here doing our jobs. We should be happy. We should be feel fortunate that the European Tour and the PGA Tour have done a great job in getting us back to play golf. Like, I haven't been in the European Tour bubble yet. This is taking my first day in here, so I know we're not allowed out. I know we're not allowed to do anything, but we're confined to the hotel. But, you know, fortunately enough, we have a nice hotel here in Galgorm this week, and, you know, it's not a bad place to be.